Good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be with you today morning and share some of my thoughts. In fact, when Sri Govindaraju and Sri Putana Shetty Garu came and requested me to come and talk today, I said all right. Then when they gave me the invitation, there was a title in the invitation, Spirituality and Service. So it was both good and bad. Good because I don't have to decide the topic. Bad, now I have to align to that topic. Anyway, it's my pleasure, and at one level I think I am standing in front of many of you who may be doing a lot of this. So I think it is a risk of carrying coal to Newcastle or sandalwood to Veerappan or something like that. But nevertheless, I will share some of the ideas on spirituality and service over the next 45 minutes. Okay. First of all, let me talk about spirituality, because this is an issue which I have been thinking for a long time. And what is so interesting is, in the last 4 years, I have seen 10,000 papers, not one or two, written by Westerners, not Indians. This is from one such paper I have taken the definition. They are telling things which we have been telling thousands of years back now. Slowly they have started telling. Look at what they are saying. Spirituality is a basic feeling that we are connected with one's own self. It is that connection. Connected with others, connected with the whole universe. This is what he is saying. The central theme of our ancient Indian wisdom is what is called Jiva Jagat Ishvara. There is a triangle. Each one of us is a Jiva. I know I exist. I know people also exist around me. So that is a Jagat. And there is some larger force called Ishvara. So these people are coming to that definition now. They are saying spirituality is a way you can connect these three. This is the central theme in Indian spirituality. How does the Jiva, Jagat and the Ishvara is connecting to one another? I think all of us are searching that answer in our own ways. Each one of us have our own answers. Each one of us have our own method of searching the answer. But nobody can deny we are not searching this answer. So that is what he is talking about spirituality here. A basic belief that there is some supreme power, a force, which you may call it, which governs the entire universe. Everything is a part and expression of that force. So today, the latest research in science, they are talking about God particle. In Switzerland, they are having a multi-billion-dollar investment. They want to find the God particle. They will be proved wrong because it is here. It is inside us. God particle is a matter of anubhava, not to see. Not to see in a piece of paper, not to see it with our indriyas. God particle is with us. It is our anubhava. I think after some $1 billion of research they will come to the conclusion. But that is what they are trying today. So fundamental feeling that we are part and parcel of connected with everything. That is spirituality at the end of the day. Nobody is stand alone. Nobody can claim I am alone. I can do anything. The day they say it, their downfall starts. We have our own experiences in life. So this is what our ancient Indian wisdom is saying. This is spirituality for us. Spirituality is Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Sambandha. How am I going to connect these three? About which lots of interesting ideas have been told. The more we think about it, we get a meaning of what spirituality is. The Jiva and the Jagat are made of Ishvara. The third component makes the first two components. There are lots of questions people have asked. You say Ishvara is something which cannot be destroyed, which is available everywhere. You and I will get destroyed after some time. How can you say they are the same? I can use science. Hydrogen is highly inflammable. Oxygen is highly inflammable. You put two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen, it will put out fire. So original property can be something, combination of the properties can be exactly reverse. So that is how it explains all this. So the whole world is made of only God particle. When you combine it, it may show opposite effect. Chemistry is telling us, simple chemistry is telling us, hydrogen will explode, oxygen will explode, but if you put hydrogen and oxygen, it will not explode, it will water, it will put it down. So that is what is happening. So many people have talked about spirituality. In fact, Swami Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna, he went to so many people, we all know. Have you seen God? Have you seen God? It is Ramakrishna who told him, I have seen God. I will also show you. Much later, somebody asked Vivekananda, same question. This I am quoting from Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda. See what his answer is. He says, have you seen God, sir? Yes. I see Him as I see you, in a much intenser sense. God can be realized. One can see and talk to God. I am seeing and talk as much as I talk. And sir, this is the acid test of spirituality. Spirituality is not a color of the dress or some fancy idea. Nothing, sir. If you are able to see God, you should be able to see God everywhere. You should be able to feel God. You should be able to talk to God. The day we are going closer to that, we have become spiritual. All others are not definition of spirituality for me. All others are, I do not know what it is. A truly spiritual person will feel God. He or she has a meaning of God. He or she need not go to explain everyone what is God and so on, but he will feel it. That's what Vivekananda is saying. He says, I am able to see it. Very intensely I am able to see it. That is spirituality, if you really ask me. Because that is the one which is connecting this axis. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Supreme bliss, which fully exists in all, from Brahma to the blade of the grass. He says, you are also that undivided Brahman. Every one of us is God particle. That is true spirituality. He says, I see it as clear as daylight. There is one Brahman in all, one Shakti which dwells in all. Only difference is of manifestation. Hydrogen may look different, oxygen may look different, H2O may look very different. So don't get cheated by that wrong effects that you see. Behind it there is this God particle. That is what Swami Vivekananda is saying. Bhagavad Gita has so beautifully explained this spirituality by what I call it as law of conservation of divinity. In science they teach what is called law of conservation of science. They are all not true. What is true is law of conservation of divinity. Divinity can neither be created nor be destroyed. Nobody can create divinity, nobody can destroy divinity also. Divinity will keep on changing its form and shape. It will keep on changing its form and shape. How does he say? Krishna so beautifully says in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. There is nothing Dhananjaya, not even a speck of dust other than me. You see whatever you want to see in the world. You have to see only me, nothing else. Matta parataram, leaving me, anything else. Na kinchid anyat asti. There is nothing in the world other than me. If you are not able to see it, you are not spiritual. Full stop. There is no comma there. If you are not able to see God, please put a full stop. There is no comma. We are not spiritual. So spirituality is not a complex rocket science. It is a feeling that we are able to see God everywhere. We must be able to see God, and it's a journey. If it doesn't happen today, it will happen one day. That's what Krishna is saying. Mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. It is like a big thread in which you are putting one bead after the other, red color bead, triangular bead, circular bead, square bead, blue color bead, whatever you want to say. Whole world is nothing but manifestation of God. And I am the thread behind everything. So that is what really is spirituality all about. So all these American papers that they are talking today is what we have been talking for years together, and culturally we are practicing it every day. I want to show that. Spirituality is what we breathe in and breathe out. Sometimes we are not able to see it. I will take some example from Bhagavad Gita to show that. Sir, in Bhagavad Gita there are 2 chapters. Of the 18 chapters, there are 2 beautiful chapters. Chapter 10 is called Vibhuti Yoga. Chapter 11 is called Vishwarupa Darshana. Many people laugh at these chapters simply because they don't know what they are looking at. Let me explain. Suppose I want to tell you about gold. Let us take an example. I want to tell you about gold. How do I start? Easiest thing for me to start is I show you a gold bangle and say this bangle is made of gold. Then I will show you a gold ring. I'll show you a gold necklace. Maybe a ear stud. I'll show you 1,000 items in gold. The more and more and more I show you gold. Let's say for about 10 years I am showing you only gold. Now you know what is gold. So the moment I show this, then you start understanding, oh, this is the value of gold. You can do ornaments with gold. You can do this, you can do that. Gold has this value. It looks like that. It can be shaped like that. It can be done like that. It has a value like that. So let's say 5 years I spend about gold. Just take this example. 5 years I have told you everything about gold. After 5 years, you know what I will do? I will bring one lump of gold. I'll just show it like that. If I show you this one lump of gold, these 1 million items you will see there. Because you know what gold will happen, what can happen with gold. That's what I did for 5 years for you. Sir, in management, this is what we do. We teach them 100 situations. Consulting, 100 different consulting we do. A person who is very experienced in consulting, he will now doesn't need these 100 situations. You show a problem, he will connect to these 100 situations. This is what knowledge is all about. This is what Krishna is doing in Bhagavad Gita. What he did, he said God is everywhere, nobody is going to listen to it. Nobody even understand what it means. So what he did, in chapter 10, he took 66 items. And he showed, he said this is God. Just like I showed you a bangle and said this is golden bangle. I showed you a necklace and said golden necklace. So the common thing for all of them is gold. In the same way, he shows one in the many. That's why I use the word one in the many. That one God is there in 66 items. It's called Vibhuti Yoga. Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Masanam Margasi Shoshmi, Ritunam Kusumakaraha, Naganam Anantas Chasmi, Sarpanam Vasuki. He gives all kinds of, some examples are all laughable examples. He says of all the mountains I am Himalayas, of all the trees I am the Ashwatha tree, of all the animals I am the lion, all kinds of examples. Why? He wants to tell the whole world is full of God. How can you say it? You have to arbitrarily take some examples and show. Just like I wanted to teach you gold, I started showing different examples and showed you this is gold. This is what he did in chapter 10. These are the 66 examples. He took 14 celestial gods, 88 ideas pertaining to Vedas and knowledge. He took some 7 rishis. He says, look at that person, I am there. Look at this person, I am there. He used Vyasa, Usana Kavihi, all kinds of names he brought. Then he brought some avatar Purushas. He said, of all the people who can do archery, I am Rama. He brought Rama. He said, Vasuki, Vrishninam Vasudevosmi. He showed himself. He said, amongst the Vrishni tribe, I am Vasudeva. They are avatar Purushas. So like that, he Kapilo Munihi, Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. Kapila is one of the avatar of Vishnu actually, if you read Bhagavata. 22 avatars are there, not 10 avatars. We only know 10. There are 22 avatars actually in Bhagavata. So like that, he bred animals, plants, nature, some actions. He said, if you look at that action, you see God there. 14 divinely actions. He said, you can see God there. So in chapter 10, he taught us like teaching to a child. He showed simple examples, and this is what God is. Do you know how we understood it? This is the only country in the world. Swami Dayananda Saraswati is no more. His favorite statement is this. When he met the Parliament of Religions, people asked, you have 330,000 gods, 330 million gods. Dayananda Saraswati said, you people have one God, we have only God. No one God. We have only God. That is called, law of conservation of divinity. This is the only country we have Muvattu Mukkodi Devargalu. 330 million gods. The joining point of 2 rivers is a holy place for us. It is God. A tree is a God. A rat is a God. All Vahanas. Why did we do all that? Because we wanted to always remember God is everywhere. A place where 3 rivers meet is a God. A place in which there is a Paurnamasya coming after 12 years is a very sacred place for us. Pushkarani, we will go. That is God. This is the only country in which we created festivals, we created Vahanas, we created everything and said everything is God. Please understand this grand principle. If you are not able to see it, you will never see God in your life. Spirituality will never happen. Spirituality is not in the book, it is Anubhava. And the anubhava comes when you are able to see God everywhere. Otherwise God will not come. God is not in a movie. Switch on the video, immediately God comes. They are all fancy. God must come inside and He should brighten you. And to come inside, you have to think about God all the time. Our festivals are meant for it. People are laughing at the festivals today. This lighting of the lamp, I was shocked when people are using shoes and then decorating it. Bear with me for saying it, this has little value. Deepa is God for us. Brightness is God for us. A photo is a God for us. It's very important for us to show that reverence, otherwise it loses its meaning. This is the culture. This is called law of conservation. To me, this is only spirituality, sir. There is nothing else. I will not use complicated formulas. I will not use some mantras and all. Nothing. If you are able to breathe in and breathe out God, if you are able to connect to everything in the world and see God in it, that day we have become spiritual. This is my definition of spirituality. So what he did, after he showed all these examples in chapter 10, in chapter 11 he came and then he stood and did Vishwarupa. Just like showing one gold, I show you one piece of stone, you will remember all things that you can do out of stone. I show you one piece of wood, you will remember furnitures made out of wood. In the same way Krishna said, now look at me. Arjuna looked at the whole world in him. Because that is what he has been taught. He really became spiritual. So these are all meant for communicating that. People are laughing at it. They are saying, how can somebody can go very tall? How can rivers flow through somebody? Rivers are not flowing. The mind is seeing bigger things in one Vyakti. That's why I call it as many in the one. If you want to know many in the one, you have to start with one in the many. Otherwise it will not work. Great management consulting principle is also there. You do see one in the many, after that you will see many in the one. Now you tell me one problem, I know how to solve it. Because I have now knowledge of everything. That is what Krishna did. That's how he demonstrated spirituality to us. This is the only country in which they use painfully they use simple stories, pictures. Prasada, one white powder is God for us, sir. One red piece of powder is God for us. One child which is born is prasada. The word prasada is a big word in this country. A child which is born is prasada. You go to the temple, he gives one spoon of water, it is prasada. Why? We want to breathe through God all the time. Otherwise spirituality will never come. Now today people are talking about spirituality. In management I teach courses on spirituality. Most sought after courses in IIM Bangalore are my courses. 140 students take my Bhagavad Gita course. They are gate crashing for my course. Why? Everyone is understanding the value of it. Companies which having clear vision is not enough. They must have values. Companies having clear vision but also have a deep sense of purpose. What do these companies stand for? As much as what do I stand for in my life? That is called spirituality. Like companies also have spirituality and they outperform. Research is showing companies which stand for some cause outperforms. That's what modern research is. So companies also need to be spiritual now, not individual. Same idea is going to the company also. To the organizations that we run also, we need a purpose. Only then it will become this thing, it will bring meaning. Spirituality is most manifest as work, meaning making. Biggest problem, sir, I will tell you, you are all very experienced, I will tell you. The number one problem today management doesn't know how to solve is workers have lost meaning in their workplace. Workplace has become meaningless for them. It's all productivity work, but they don't enjoy anything. Why? Spirituality is not there. They are not able to connect to a cause. If you suck spirituality out of any place, take spirituality out of a family, that family will be destroyed. Take spirituality from a workplace, that organization will be destroyed forever. That's what modern research is coming back full circle. It is coming back to the same idea with which we started. Business ethics is disoriented where workplace doesn't have spirituality. We have seen any number of examples also. We don't have to talk much on that. So I have been thinking, what will happen if somebody is not spiritual? I can tell you these are the things I have seen. People today, 30% of the words used in any country, the one word which is used very frequently is called boredom, boring. 700 years back, the word boring and boredom was not in the English dictionary. Today, that is the most important word. Youngsters are all saying all the time boring. Boredom is a classic expression of spiritual emptiness. If people are spiritually empty, only they will have boredom. A person who is spiritually alive will never have boredom in their life. Never. For him, life is very interesting. Life is full of energy for him. That is the meaning of spirituality. Person who doesn't have spirituality will have boredom only in life. So it is an expression of spiritual emptiness. People have a lot of dilemmas today. Too much of dilemmas. To me, it is spiritual impotency. If you are spiritually potent, you have courage. You don't have dilemma. You have courage within yourself. That's what spirituality actually gives to people. Confusions about life goals and achievements, leading to too much of risk aversion, is spiritual haziness. People who lack spirituality suffer from all these. They have boredom. They have dilemmas in life. They have confusions in life. They don't know how to handle life. Whereas a spiritually active person would win over all that. So that is why we must recognize how spiritual we are. We can put our own things on a scale of 0 to 100 and understand what is happening. Now, with this simple understanding, so I don't want to introduce very complex ideas about spirituality. This is spirituality simply for me. Now the question is, what is this connection between spirituality and service? Why do you need spirituality to have service? Or will spirituality at all affect service in any way? So let us look at the dimensions of spirituality. Because that will tell us what will happen to the service if you want to engage in some service. And if you have spirituality, what will happen? If you don't have spirituality, what will happen? There are 4 dimensions of spirituality, as I already told. It is a belief in transcendence. There is a powerful force above all of us. That belief is the one which makes people search for meaning in life. Otherwise, you don't have to search for meaning in life. We can enjoy life and go. Why are we searching for meaning in life? Because we believe there is something bigger. We believe there is something larger, which I want to make sense of. That's the first axis of spirituality. Interconnectedness is the second powerful axis of spirituality. Sir, if you don't have interconnectedness, your service will have no value. Service will become valueless. Service gets value because of spirituality, because spirituality brings the axis of interconnectedness. That leads to the feeling of love and compassion. That leads to a sense of life purpose or meaning in the earthly world. So the first factor drives the fourth factor. Second factor drives the third factor. This is what happens in spirituality. Truly, this is how spirituality works. So therefore, if these dimensions are true, service will make a difference. Otherwise, service will not make a difference. People who can bring a little bit of spirituality will undergo a wholesome change in their approach to service. I will take 2 examples. Arvind Eye Hospital, I'm sure many of you are aware of it. A doctor who was the first, there was a Telugu settlement of 300 families, 60 kilometers from Madurai, from where this doctor came. First person to get educated in the whole village, right? Goes to the army as a doctor. At the age of 26, this young boy is discharged, unfit. He is not able to stand. Hand, severe attack of arthritis, leg is shaking. So they discharged this young doctor from the army at the age of 27. What did he do? He went to Madurai, Government Rajaji Hospital, Escrine Hospital. 31 years he worked there. 31 years his fire in the belly did not quench. At the age of 58, when he retired from Government Rajaji Hospital, he starts a world-class company called Arvind Eye Hospital. That is what spirituality can do. And today I will tell you, John Hopkins and Harvard Institute of Medical Sciences, the 2 top-notch medical schools in the world, have a 6-month waiting list for the doctors to intern at Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai. I am talking about such an institution. Dr. Venkataswamy. He was nothing but embodiment of spirituality. What did he say? He said, I will restore the precious gift of sight back to people. That is my job. Eye doctor. He said, if they can't give money, that's alright. Who has the courage to say it? Only a spiritual person will have the courage to make the statement. You don't have money, don't worry. When you have money, give me. I am alright. And that company today is rich in cash. It's not that he did philanthropy. He could attract the best talent, he could attract the best things. It is cash rich today, but it is running on a theme of spirituality. People there believe in spirituality. At the age of 87, when he slipped into coma in 2005, people thought that was the end of Dr. Venkataswamy. 2-3 weeks later, he recovered from coma. I saw him in the wheelchair in the hospital. He was in the hospital for another 3 months, and in November he died. Shining example of spirituality. Look at the Indian concept of dhanam. I want to talk a little bit in detail. What can a spiritual perspective change your attribute? Let us talk about giving. Giving, dhanam. Let us find out how Indian concept of dhanam is very different from American concept of dhanam. In fact, Warren Buffett came 2 years back. The Hindu paper had the audacity to write, Warren Buffett said, Indians are not giving enough. One of my colleagues said, shut up. You don't know what is the spirit of giving. We don't even tell what we give. You have no idea. You people give and then make a news headline. That's not our culture. Why? Because dhanam with spirituality has a different meaning. I'll show you what is the difference. If you take Indian perspective, dhanam is an action of relinquishing ownership. Whatever I have to take out my ownership. That is called dhanam. Relinquishing ownership and investing it on somebody in return. Somebody will be benefited by that. Therefore, I will relinquish the ownership of what I have and give it to them. It's a very different perspective. In other words, it is abnegation of wealth. That's why if you call a purohit, when you do a dhanam, you know what you will say? Somaya idam na mama. Agnaye idam na mama. Indraya idam na mama. Na mama, na mama. He will say, not mine, not mine, not mine. Our idea of dhanam is not to help someone. Don't have this thinking. Then you are spiritually, you will never evolve. Our idea is an opportunity to invest a wealth on somebody and see the joy of it. That not even an iota of imagination that I have helped, so he will help in return to me sometime later. That's not Indian type of dhanam. So it is giving up, not giving. American system and the Western system, dhanam means giving. Here it is giving up, which means you have to forget. After you give the dhanam, many of us do it. That's why we don't go and tell the newspaper. We don't want to tell because it's an inferior way of giving. A spiritually oriented person knows what is the meaning of giving. He says reciprocity of gifts may be a social function, but it is not part of the dhanam at all. Whereas in the Western system, always there is a return gift. When you give, today all birthday parties, there is a return gift. We are also moving the Western way. No. Dhanam is without any expectation. You have to relinquish ownership. That's the spiritual meaning of dhanam. There is a great opportunity God has given me to help someone. There is a joy of helping. That comes only in the Indian concept of dhanam. It is giving up, not giving. There is no cost benefit in dhanam. That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad, it's a beautiful mantra. I just want to show this to you. It's a convocation address in the first chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad, in which he says Shraddaya Deyam, Ashraddaya Deyam, Kriya Deyam, Bhiya Deyam, Shriya Deyam, Sambhida Deyam. The Guru is saying, know how you should give. You are all passing out of the college, I will tell you. Do you know how you should give? I will tell you all the rules. Shraddaya Deyam. Give with Shraddha. Shraddha means you bring seriousness to the whole activity, not just throw money. If somebody is creating problem, write a check, ask him, take it and go. No. Give with Shraddha. And Ashraddaya Adeyam. The negative part is categorically told so that we don't have an iota of doubt about this concept. This is a communication technology. When you have to communicate something unambiguously, you should tell the not of the negative also. That's what the Rishi has done. Ashraddaya Adeyam. Then he says, Shriya Deyam. Shri means richness. Give plentily. Don't be misery. Give once in your lifetime. Give in plenty. There is a joy of giving in plenty. That's what he says. Shriya Deyam. Then he says Biya Deyam. Biya means baya. Out of fear. What fear? The gift that I give, is it appropriate for him or not? Am I giving something which will be useful to him? Who is thinking about all this? Sir, I will tell you, when there was a flash flood in this Mantralayam area 4 years back, there is this Gunj. He is a good friend of mine. He told Mahadevan, I must tell you, we have received lorry loads of items which nobody will ever use in their lifetime. The cost of disposal was so high. So I asked my students, I asked a simple question to my students. I said, I am in IIM Bangalore. God forbid there was a earthquake. Just imagine. My house is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. I have come to the middle of the road. Professor Mahadevan is in the middle of the road. I asked him, how many of you will eat some nonsense food? How many of you will wear a dress which is all torn? You will rather die of honor. Think that when you give. Why are you throwing all useless things? This is a culture which has come from Western thing to this country. Never we should do that. Giving must be given with a sense of not sympathy, empathy. So that's what he's saying. Biyadeyam. With fear you give. Fear that am I giving something which is useful, which is appropriate? And samvidadeyam. Fully informed with a lot of wisdom and reasoning and viveka, give. So look at the concept of giving. Concept of giving is not a casual idea in India. I mean, there are a lot more. I just, for want of time, I just wanted to give a little sense of it. What I am trying to tell you is, if you are if you have put a spiritual lens, your life perspective will change. This is an example. I am just giving an example. The act of giving will completely go through a wholesome change because I have become spiritual now. So that is what it is. The entire experience of service may become a tool for self-evolution. Sir, at the end of the day, my dear friends, I don't have to say this to you. Our goal in life is to evolve. This Vyaktitva must blossom. Yesterday we were talking about it. This Vyaktitva must blossom, otherwise life is worthless. And how will this Vyaktitva blossom? How will the self evolve? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the self will evolve only when you have Chitta Shuddhi. If you don't have Chitta Shuddhi, whatever you do in life, your self will not evolve. Now the question is, how do you get Chitta Shuddhi? I just want to take a few. So a spiritual person knows that the only way to evolve is Chitta Shuddhi. If your mind is not becoming pure, there is no evolution. I mean, we can make a lot of money, we can buy 2 more plots, buy 2 more companies, sell 4 more companies, all that we can do. If an individual have to evolve, his mind or her mind become purer and purer and purer day by day by day. That is the metrics for evolution. A spiritual person knows that. Now, how will you do? Krishna says. Krishna, the entire Bhagavad Gita teaching, I want to put in a small box, because I don't have time to talk the entire Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's recommendation at the end of the day is very simple. He says, when you do karma, 2 things can happen. One thing that can happen is, you will do karma with what is in it for me. What can I gain out of it? Krishna says, if you do like that, you will have a boga and you will become a rogi. Karma will lead to boga. Boga will lead you to roga. That way of doing work is karma rogi, not karma yogi. It will lead to boga, boga to roga. Because this desire, all that will eat you away, sir. We all know that. So Chitta Shuddhi will never happen in this route. Krishna says, do work without what is in it for me. Tasma tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. That's what he says in chapter 3. He says, lokan anyatra yajnartam karma, lokan anyatra karma bandhana, tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Keep out what is in it for me, a little bit out of your life. Your life will qualitatively change. Your life will dramatically change. You will evolve at a faster pace. A spiritual person knows it. If that orientation with which he comes, service is a completely different ball game. Because if a spiritual person knows, service is a wonderful tool for Chitta Shuddhi. Karma Yoga can happen through service. Karma Yoga can happen through service. That is why Baba Amte, who was a barrister at law, 632 acres of land, wealthiest Brahmin, was cleaning the toilet in Sabarmati Ashram, was carrying night soil when he found a person. Then because service only will bring Chitta Shuddhi. It will burn the Ahankar. Otherwise Chitta Shuddhi and all will never happen. We can endlessly read Harikathas, we can do that, we can do that. No. A spiritual person will switch on this possibility in his life or her life, that it's all about Chitta Shuddhi. It's all about doing that, doing karma from a perspective of slightly distancing from what is in it for me. If you are in the thick of what is in it for me, eventually you will become a karma rogi. This is what Krishna in 18 chapters in many ways he has said. I think it is very relevant in a service context. So all that I would like to conclude by saying is, spirituality, the lens of spirituality would definitely change the perspective of service. People will change. The quality of the service, the perspective of the service will change. As I told, empathy will be the most important aspect. I would fail to imagine that a person who is spiritually oriented will give a useless shirt as a donation. He will not do it, because sense of interconnectedness is spirituality for him. The axis of interconnectedness is spirituality for him. He will have empathy, not sympathy. In fact, in Indian tradition it says, don't give anything with sympathy. Sympathy is useless. You know what sympathy means? Sympathy requires force of gravity. I have to be bigger than you. I have to be better than you. I have to look down upon you. Only then sympathy will come. So sympathy requires force of gravity. The person giving must be at a higher plane. Person receiving must be at a lower plane. Only then sympathy will work. Empathy requires no force of gravity. What empathy requires is what Vivekananda said. Daridra Narayana. Ramakrishna and Vivekananda used the word Daridra Narayana. Look at Narayana in the Daridra. Great opportunity to make a difference. God has been kind to me, has given me so much. Let me make a difference to people. That perspective will come. So it appears to me that a person who develops a tinge of spirituality will definitely see that rendering service will be a life transforming experience. It's an experience, it's not a knowledge. Sir, Anubhava is different from knowledge. Knowledge you need Indriyas. For Anubhava you need no Indriyas. For Anubhava you need nothing. That's why in deep sleep you enjoy. Your buddhi doesn't work, your manas doesn't work, your chitta doesn't work, your ahankara doesn't work, your karmendriyas doesn't work, your jnanendriyas doesn't work. That is called deep sleep, sound sleep. Sound sleep means make any amount of sound, I will not get up. None of my indriyas are working. We enjoy it. Because that's a matter of anubhava. Awareness is not there. Knowledge is a domain of awareness. Those are all theory. Spirituality is not theory. Spirituality is anubhava. A person who will experience it will have a life transforming experience. With these few words, I will stop here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Where are we? I think so far, last 45 minutes, I think we have taken the some other word and they are coming back.